Welcome to Leadership Speak. I will get my background changed here in a moment. To here, there we go. Welcome. We are an advanced Toastmaster club for leadership development and one of the top 5 clubs globally. I am Coach Sandra, the compassionate queen of straight talk and your sergeant at arms for today. And it's been a while, so I invite anyone who has the opportunity to do this, take a chance and roll it on. It's great. The club mission, we do provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer, Barbara Jarvis, has her hand raised, her virtual hand. That will keep your timing up in the top corner of your screen. Our Toastmaster of the day today is Nthati. I'm not too good on these names here, is Nthati, and we're so thrilled that she is leading us in Rise Forward. Rise Forward. She's also working today as Toastmaster of the Day on the project to manage the meeting, so keep an eye out for that as well. I'm so excited to be introducing our amazing lady today. From where did you go to? Toastmaster since October 2022. A holder of the Triple Crown at Leadership Speak. And also from, get me correct here, Thati, from South Africa. That's the joy of this club, is having people from all over the world. And we welcome you all of the guests and our members, and I'm going to hand it over now to Thati. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for a humbling introduction. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. These wise words from the Japanese proverb embody the spirit of resilient leader. Today, as your Toastmaster, let us walk the path together to explore the power of rising forward, even in the face of adversity. Good afternoon from South Africa, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Before we proceed, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our guests. We are honored by your presence in our midst. Thank you. Kindly fill in the guest book, which will be shared soon in the chat room. Jot down your comments, your questions. Indicate whether we have met your expectation today. If you'd like to join, that guest book will be a thread that joins us with you. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, today's theme, Rise Forward, the power of resilient leaders, resonates deeply. We've all faced challenges, but it's how we respond that defines who we are. Do you agree? Resilient leaders don't just survive, they thrive. Are you in agreement with that statement, fellow Toastmasters and guests? In Leadership Speak, we cultivate resilience through effective communication and leadership. Our members develop confidence, creativity, persuasive leadership. We learn to survive. We learn leadership at most best through overcoming obstacles, through inspiration and motivation. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, consider leadership speak as your platform for growth. Will you? In this platform, you will learn to develop public speaking skills. We will enhance your leadership skills and captivate your audience in all platforms. You will build a very supportive network of like-minded people who come from 27 countries, from different professions and professional bodies. Here, we learn to overcome fear and achieve personal goals. Dear guests and fellow Toastmasters, Leadership Speak is more than just a club. It is a study group. It is a transformative journey. Let us work together and discover the power of leadership that's resilient, and it is within ourselves. In conclusion, let us rise forward together. Guests, continue to visit our club to experience the energy and unlock your potential as well as mine. Let us grow together. Remember to fill in the guest book. Today's program is as follows. It has got 3 phases. Phase 1, which is inclusive of speakers. Phase 2, the evaluation phase. And the last phase where we interact. President will be interacting with our guests. Without much ado, we start with our toast, which will be led by Lydia. Lydia will be proposing a toast and will be evaluated by Claudette Thomas. Claudette Thomas, introduce Lydia.
Good day, everyone. And Lydia is already on the screen. So Lydia has been working on her toast and she'll present a toast for our meeting today. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Lydia, we are all ears to hear you proposing the toast.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Rise forward and not rise backward or sideways. As leaders, we face several challenges. And when we face those challenges, what do? We rise forward. And that is the power of resilient leaders. That is why we are here in Leadership Speak, for us to learn, get the skills of being good leaders, and we become resilient so that we're able to overcome challenges. I'll give you an example. Last year, my home club, membership was going down. We were getting less members. No new members were joining our club. What did we do? We got together, then tried to figure out what were the challenges. Then we realized that it was within us because members were taking more roles. You are a speaker and you have a role. So at the end of the day, they were getting tired. What did we do? As a leader, we had to race forward by calling for help. And when we got the help from the area director, we were given the PQD to be our club mentor. And that is how we had to race forward, and our club had a very good growth And now, as I'm speaking to you, we are more than 24 members. Just because we realized where the challenges were, we worked on the weaknesses, and as leaders, we were able to move forward. And now the club is thriving. As leaders, the world is changing. There's so much that is changing. Organizations are also changing. When they change, leaders also need to change. And for you to be able to change, you have to understand what are the problems so that you're able to rise forward and be able to handle the problems. And those problems, when you handle them, you're able to learn what are those challenges. You're able to perfect in future, you know how to overcome those challenges. Look at some of the companies that were going down. And after realizing the problem, the Nike, what they did, they came up with a way to handle their problems, and they were able to rise forward and progressed. That is why we are here in Leadership Speak, so that we are able to be good leaders in our own areas, whether personal or in the office, even politics. Whenever we are faced with challenges, you're not supposed to give up. We are supposed to raise forward, which is the power of the leaders. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I request you to unmute, put your videos on, and toast to raise forward the power of resilient leaders. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Power of resilient leaders.
Resilient
The
leader.
power of
resilience.
resilient leaders.
Yes. Thank you very much for an inspirational toast. I'll call upon the timer, Barbara Davis, to explain her role. Barbara, explain your role.
Good day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am Barbara Jarvis, your timer for today. I shall time you according to the times as per the agenda. I'll be showing you the green card, the yellow card, and then the red card. And at the end of each session, your time will be put into the chat. Thank you, and back over to you, Toastmaster today.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Your role is very important because time is one of the most important assets that we all have in equal packages. Thank you. Call upon Toastmaster Antul Sankara to present the word of the day. Toastmaster Sankara.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take a note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day. The word of the day is empowerment. I repeat again, empowerment, which means giving individuals or groups the confidence, resource, and authority to take control of their own lives and decisions that affect them. An example of using this word, the organization focus on empowerment by providing training that helps businesses to start their own business. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, Toastmasters. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sankara. for the empowerment we have just given to this meeting. We move forward to the first speech. It's an educational speech by Toastmaster Ejura Okpanachi. I'll call upon her evaluator, Toastmaster Vinod Panicker, to introduce Ejura. Toastmaster Vinod.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Ejura is presenting a project from the Path Motivational Strategy. And the purpose statement of and it's level 5 project. The purpose of the project is for the member to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. For the study group and our guest request, the speaker has specially mentioned to focus on smooth transitions. Motivation, was the speech motivating, inspiring, and interesting? Was she comfortable for this long speech? And how was the audience response? So after the speech, do give her a feedback on this. All the very best, and back to you, Ejura.
You are mute.
Nthati, you're
You're
muted.
muted, Madam Toastmaster.
Toastmaster Ejura, come back, kid. Come back, kid. Toastmaster Ejura.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Good afternoon from Nigeria, Leadership Speak members and our precious, precious guests. You are most welcome to our meeting today. I want you all to please answer the question in the chat box. Tell me if you ever were a fan of wrestling, or if you are a fan of wrestling. I would like to see the answers in the chat box. And also tell me who your favorite wrestler is or was. Okay, I see a few responses. So I'll keep going, but I will still want to see, yes, Stone Cold. Thank you so much. Good afternoon once again. When I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s, Saturday afternoons were precious to us, my brothers and I, because between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., we were entertained on TV by wrestlers. The legends of back then, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, the Von Erich brothers, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Mighty Igor. These were the legends we watched every Saturday. Men in spandex, causing grievous bodily harm to each other. It was unfathomable, but it was so entertaining. We watched it so much so that my brothers were able to reenact scenarios at home to entertain each other. So on one hand, we had the champion. On the other hand, we had the challenger. The stadium is jam-packed. The lights are glaring. The crowd cheering wildly for their champion. On the other hand, we have the challenger. The challenger is someone who was once the champion. He's the underdog now. He is struggling because his body has told stories of injuries and personal tragedy. But his face is determined to win this fight. So the bell rings. And then from the start, we know that the champion has got this under control. He is taking his time to beat up the challenger, letting him know who the champion is. For 20 whole minutes, the champion is hitting the challenger, punch after punch after punch. Each punch feeling like thunder to the challenger. The champion jumps from the ring and slams and hits the challenger who is on the floor. He holds him, takes him on a chokehold, elbows him, hits him in the groin area, hits him in the abdomen, hits his head, kicks him, he's doing everything in his power to let the challenger know that he's in to win this fight and retain his championship. The challenger is defeated. He seems defeated. Everyone is watching and realizing that, look, this match is over because there's really nothing to it. The champion is hitting the challenger and defeating him in every way possible. But then, as the challenger is under a chokehold, after about 30 minutes, the camera zooms into his face. You can see the the beads of sweat dripping down his face. You can see the defeat leaving his eyes, and you can almost see something stirring on the inside of him. You can see the oil, the oil dripping from his greasy hair. And you can feel a stirring within him because he's here to win this fight. You can almost see the flicker in his eyes, telling us, the viewers, that he remembers who he is. And then suddenly, with a burst of energy, he releases himself and twists himself out of the grip of the champion. And then he gains ground and starts hitting the champion back with renewed energy, hitting him back. He's now gaining momentum. He's now gaining control. The champion is confused and rattled. The tides have turned suddenly, and the crowd is now cheering for the challenger, the underdog, the one who was once the champion. He's hitting the champion back, left, right, and center. And suddenly, with something I can only describe as sheer will, he picks up the champion, spins him round, and slams him hard to the floor. He jumps over him, raises his leg, and the referee counts 1, 2, 3. The bell rings. The challenger has won the fight. The crowd explodes in unimaginable applause. The noise is all over the place. The lights are shining bright. The commentators are yelling in shock and excitement as the song Eye of the Tiger booms from the speakers. The commentators are talking about his personal tragedies, and they're telling us about how he has risen from those tragedies and come back to take his belt as a champion. And he's tagged the comeback kid. This is a phrase we've heard over the years to describe somebody who has risen out of adversity to face challenges and come back to incredible glory. Trials, adversities, challenges, and obstacles, whatever you want to call them, these are things that every single one has experienced. It's like a rite of passage. Trials and tribulations are like pizza, and everyone gets a slice. All through the course of our lives, we experience challenges, not to take us down, but to help us grow. That is the idea. Take me, for instance. God knows I've seen my own share of challenges. God knows I've seen my own share of obstacles. Some of them were brought up by external factors, and some of them were self-inflicted. Whether self-inflicted or brought on by external circumstances, they are there for us to learn from. One of the things I learned as I got used to facing challenges is that for you to overcome challenges, for you to be a comeback kid and overcome challenges, you have to have a certain mindset. One of which I came to learn later in life was self-assurance, self-awareness, self-worth. You see, you have to have a sense of self-worth. You have to know who you are. You have to understand what drives you. You have to have values and principles that determine how you make decisions and how you live your life. Another thing that is really important is self-talk. We have voices in our heads. Which of the voices do you listen to? The good or the bad? And how do you talk to yourself? If you spoke to yourself, if you spoke to a friend the way you speak to yourself, would you still be friends with that person? The final mindset I want to bring to our attention is the growth mindset. And this growth mindset is really about the ability to transform from challenges to opportunities, the ability to look challenges in the eye and turn them into stepping stones. Those are the three mindsets I've come to learn, I've come to imbibe over the years as I face challenges. Now, how exactly do we face these challenges? We have this mindset. What exactly are we going to do when you face challenges? What practical steps will you take? Well, the first one, I'll tell you. First of all, stare at that challenge right in the eye. And of course, because you're human, you are going to experience emotions. You're going to experience your first reaction. I'll suggest to you, feel those emotions. Feel them. Don't try to bury them, but don't linger in them. Don't dwell on them. Feel the emotions and then start asking yourself questions. This way, you are assessing the situation. You assess the situation by asking yourself real questions. How did this problem come about? Was this my fault? Was this something I could have done better? Was this somebody else's fault? Was this from an external factor or external circumstances? You ask yourself questions. What good can possibly come out of this situation? What good can I take out of this? And what opportunities can I take from this? What lessons can I learn from this? When you ask yourself these questions, you'll be able to assess the situation properly and then take actionable steps. One thing I need to say though, it's a process. You keep asking yourself these questions over the course of, depending on how long the challenge lasts, you have to ask yourself these questions. And there are times your emotions or the need for vengeance or the need for vindication or justification would get in the way. Please don't allow your ego to get in the way of your growth. Don't allow yourself to be so overwhelmed by emotions that it gets in the way of your growth. Then, the next step, go back to your goals. Look at your goals again. The obstacle came and somehow they destabilized you and you got disoriented. But as soon as you come back to yourself, go back to your goals, because the goals shape the plan and the plan shapes your actions. When you're able to do that, please, this next step is really important. Get help. Get help from a mentor or a coach. Whatever it is, please get help. And then you're able to receive feedback and insight and advice on how to take the next steps. And then take calculated risks and move forward. A time comes when you just have to move forward, because you cannot keep staying in this. You cannot keep staying stuck and keep looking back at what has happened to you and the consequences of what has happened to you. You have to face forward. And in all of this, it's very important that you take care of yourself. Take care of your well-being. Take care of your mind. Take care of your soul. Take care of your body. Exercise. Meditate. Be careful what you eat. Be careful what you watch and what you listen to, because it is all those things that form the thoughts in your mind that gives you the emotions that makes you act out. So if you're thinking great thoughts, if you're watching things that inspire you, if you're listening to things that inspire you, or being in the midst of people that inspire you, then you will become an inspiration. My Toastmasters and our precious guests, I've handed out to you a few steps for you to take to rise above adversity. And as you rise above adversity, please remember that setbacks are simply setups for a comeback. You have faced challenges most of your lives, and you did well. Could you do better? Absolutely. You can continue to get better as you face challenges, because let's face it, there will always be challenges. The ability to rise above problems is what determines your worth, is what defines your worth. It is not the fact that you have issues or problems or failures that determines your worth. Remember, you are not your problems, but rather it is your willingness to try again that defines your worth. It was Nelson Mandela that said, and I quote, the greatness of living does not lie in never having failures, but rather in rising up again and again every time we fall. End of quote. Everyone listening to me today, you are the comeback kid. Every one of us is a comeback kid. And as I've given you steps, I'm hoping that you have taken on a few things to keep getting better, to keep rising higher and faster and quicker each time you come face to face with a challenge. Because you are resilient, because you are determined, because you are unstoppable. Wow. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Rise up, come back, and show the world what you're made of. You've got this. You really do. We all have got this because we are the comeback kid. The Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ejura, for such an inspirational, educational speech. There will always be challenges. Leadership Speak is indeed a platform for re-engineering the comeback kids, as it is a platform for empowerment. The resilient, unstoppable leaders rise forward and claim their power of resilience because we are not our problems. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ejura, more so for the steps you have just shared for keeping us and getting us better. Very inspirational. Without much ado, we move over to the speeches that emanate from pathways. We'll receive our first speech from Toastmaster Daniel Omondi Odero, who is evaluated by Toastmaster Alfin. Toastmaster Alfin, explain the Toastmasters' objective and purpose of her presentation.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Tonight we will have Toastmaster Dan Odero will deliver a speech in Persuasive Influence Pathway. The project is Icebreaker. The purpose of this project is for members to introduce themselves to the club and learn basic structure of public speech. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Toastmaster Odero. Judgmental. Judgmental, Toastmaster Odero.
The saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. Tell me, have you ever been judged unfairly? Or worse still, have you judged somebody incorrectly? Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. A year after leaving high school, I was working in a five-star hotel. What was the experience? First of all, how did I get there? I was extremely fortunate that my mother, a senior travel consultant working with a large airline, Swiss Air, one of the top airlines in the world, knew the general manager at a hotel, the Lillian Towers, run by the Intercontinental Hotel. And she talked to him because I had this burning urge since I was 9 years old to get into the hotel industry. So she talked to him and they offered an opportunity for me to have, they call it management trainee, to be a trainee there for 3 months. Then they extended to another 2 months, so 5 months. And I worked there for a whole year. After working for a year in this beautiful hotel, I felt I needed a change. With a year experience, I could get there. Fortunately, my father was also a top senior government official. So he knew several people. He was the director of fisheries. He knew one of the directors of a grand hotel. He knew the executive director. And he asked him, please give my son an opportunity. He loves this. Please give him an opportunity to work in the hotel. The executive director picked up the phone, called the personnel manager. I was in for an interview. My interview was him looking at me, turn around so I see how you look. Good enough, get into work. Because of that, the front office manager loathed me. This young boy, 20, coming to work here, no experience. He loathed me, and I felt the pain because he judged me. He didn't know me, but he judged me. He could be right, because this is nepotism. Got in because of your father. What that gave me, it empowered me to say I will prove him wrong. In the next 4 months' time, I got the best employee of the year certificate. I worked hard. I enjoyed what I was doing. My passion drove me. I worked well. So 4 months, employee of the year. Right through the year, every 3 months, I got the award again and again. Don't judge a book by its cover. After working there for some time, I heard about an opportunity to go and study in South Africa. I loved the Grand Hotel. The hotel was so grand, 64 acres, 7 restaurants, a gym, grand. I was working well. The managing director noticed how well I worked and he became friendly with me. Dan, you are a great worker. Dan used to greet me every morning. One time when I went on leave for 30 days, when I came back, he says, Dan, we missed you. Where have you been? I said, this is my friend. Always happy to see him when he's going out to play his golf. The opportunity to go and study abroad came through South Africa Hotel School, Swiss Hotel School in South Africa. But the fees was too high for me to pay. With my music salary, I couldn't afford it. So I said, I'd ask my friend, the managing director, he will help me. He is my friend. Of course, this will be simple. I wrote a letter asking him for some help and some advice. I sent the letter. A week passed, no response. 2 weeks passed, no response. 3 weeks, no response. I said, let me go and talk to him then. So I went to his office. I'd like to see him. I didn't need an appointment because he's my friend. He says, come in. When I went to see him, I asked him, did you get my letter? I was concerned. He said, yes, I did. And The words that came out of his mouth sank my heart. He said, I don't like beggars. I had judged that he was my friend who would help me. Oh, that could have killed many of us, but it empowered me to work hard. I resigned and I went down to South Africa to study. I was there for 5 years. I ran a franchise, a Kenyan franchise there. I did well because I was passionate. I had judged wrong that he would be my savior. He wasn't. But I worked hard. The empowerment I got helped me to succeed. Have you been judged? Has it crushed you? Did you judge somebody else? Has it crushed you? Do not let being judgmental break your heart. You never judge a book by its cover. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Odero. Have you ever judged anyone? Have you ever been judged? You left us with a homework to think deeply. Judgmental. We take this opportunity to call upon our next speaker, Bindu Thankappan, who will be evaluated by Toastmaster Renal Kantikos. Toastmaster Renal Kantikos, explain Bindu's speech purpose.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Today, our speaker, Toastmaster Bindu, delivering speeches from Visionary Communication Level 1 projects Speak with a Purpose. Timer, please load the time slot 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and present a well-organized speech on any topic. All the best to Toastmaster Bindu. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Toastmaster Bindu, are you angry? Are you angry, Toastmaster Bindu?
How many times have you been angry with people around you? Several times, is it not? Me too. As we grow up, that anger outburst decreases. Hope you all agree with me. Just raise your hands if you agree with me. Thank you. Thank you very much. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my dear Toastmasters and guests. Last month, I had raised my voice towards my colleague, whom I thought was not right. I said, Arun, this is ridiculous. How could you? My chief did not expect this from me. Even I did not expect this from me. I thought I was in the journey of leadership and I had conquered my primitive emotions, negative emotions like anger or jealousy. But here I am. You know, for the next 1 week, I was drowned in that unhappy mood. my efficiency dropped to sub-zero level, not only in my workplace, but also my home. And that colleague of mine had not even a little remorse about what he had done. That is the power of emotions. As man has evolved from a limbic brain to a prefrontal brain, man conquered ways and means to conquer the negative emotions. Man does evolve like a monkey, wandering here and there, maybe on unwanted things also. And it is those emotions which is the vocabulary of the brain. It is these emotions which take people, events etched in our memory. These emotions could be good emotions like happiness, or bad ones like sorrow. Whatever it is, it has got an empowering quality on us. You know why? When you're in happy mode, it will take you to your baptism place. And when you are so unhappy, it will draw you to the abysmal depths from which you never know how to get out. You need sometimes a helping hand because you think you are worthless. So that was the situations when I had quarrel with my colleague. I reached out. After 1 week of worthlessness. And the psychiatric friend of mine, Miss Anjana, told me, Bindu, you know what? You are overstressed. You're overworked. You are stressing yourself. You're taking 16 hours a day work, and there you are. I contemplated. It was true. She also told me ways and means of coming out of this situation, and that was working on an anger journal, resuming to my routine walk, daily walk, and giving my own time, me time, devoting myself to de-stress myself. That way, I had really made myself worthy. These negative emotions are really taking energy from us. Great personalities like Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi have conquered their emotions, and they have transformed that to bring it in such a way that they fight with a purpose, but in a peaceful manner, in a calm and composed way. And these examples are testimonials to the fact that if you are not emotionally intelligent, you will never ever climb up the steps of your leadership journey. And here I am, climbing the small steps of leadership, still not able to conquer my emotions. But now that I found the solutions, I have taken drastic steps to behave myself as an intelligent being not doing a knee-jerk reaction to each and every person in front of me. Dear cast and Toastmasters, next time when you become angry, ask yourself, are you the Homo sapien who had conquered the limbic brain? If not, it's time to do it. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Are you the Homo sapien who had conquered the world? Toastmaster Bindu, thank you very much. Your speech has been an empowerment. You cited issues of negative emotions which drain our energy. And you gave us a tip on what to do when to avert negative emotions. That is very empowering. We move to the next speaker, Toastmaster Irene Sadia. I'm calling upon her evaluator, Toastmaster John Odero. Toastmaster John Odero, share with us the purpose of Toastmaster Irene's speech.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters. Toastmaster Irene is speaking from the persuasive influence part, and she's working on the first project, the Icebreaker. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce herself to the club and also to learn the basic components of a public speech. When I met with Toastmaster Irene yesterday, she informed that she's working on her voice modulation, pitch, as well as eye contact. And so she would like us today to view her ability to modulate her voice appropriately during her delivery, her pitch, and to maintain eye contact with the audience throughout her speech. The time is 4 to 6 minutes. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster John. Irene, Sadia, the friends I journey with. The friends I journey with, Irene.
Okay, I had just come from outside playing, snuck my head round the door to look at the clock on our wall. The shorter hand was on number 9. The longer one was on 10. So I knew 2 things were about to happen. Wait. My mother was going to appear, and right on cue, she appeared on our living room threshold. Number 2, she was going to leave a set of instructions. Irene, yes, Mom? I'm leaving for my meeting. Take care of the house and your siblings. Okay. And off she went. Now, I liked the part of take care of the house and my siblings when I could lord it over them. But I did not like the part when I had to follow up after them, make sure they did this, did that. I did not like that. And it even extended to school because we were in the same primary school. And so I had to make sure they did not leave a book behind, did not leave their sweater behind, did not leave anything behind. I did not like it. So when she came home that evening, I asked her, Mom, why are you always asking me to take care of the house and my siblings? And yet there is a house manager employed for that. She said, my child, sit down. And so I sat. She said, when you go to school, after you're taught, are you given some homework? I said, yes. She's like, what's the purpose of the homework? I said, it is to practice what I learned. So you taking care of the house and your siblings is practice for later. Now, for an 11-year-old, I'm really not very worried about a house later. I just want to play with my friends. So when I graduated from primary school to high school and campus, the siblings were no longer following me. So that was great. I could hang out with my friends without them following me behind. After campus, I meet this fine man who manages to convince me to leave my father's house and go live in his house. And shortly, we had a child of our own. Now, this child was not my mother's. This is mine. So I am the primary caregiver. I really remembered my mother. The practice was for this moment. And so that was good for me because then I realized that my mother was just helping me for the future that I was too short-sighted to see. 5 years into that marriage, remember the fine gentleman that convinced me to leave my father's house to move into his house? He chose to die on me without notice. Young man, what happened to us growing old together? So what's going to happen? Who will take care of these children? It was a very tumultuous time for me. Remember the siblings that I did not like following me when I was playing with my friends? They came through for me. They helped babysit my children. They supported us financially until we were able to get back on our feet again. My siblings are my friends. In fact, a friend to anyone is a friend to all of us. So, should you choose to bully one of us, you can bet we will all land on you. In life, there are ups, there are downs. And when things are going great for you, you can celebrate alone. But isn't it more fun when you have friends to celebrate with? And in the day of trouble, it will come as sure as the sun rises in the east. Who is the friend who picks you up, who holds your hand and tells you it will be okay? The sun will shine again. Toastmasters and guests, I ask, would you consider having one friend if you don't? 2 friends who would help you journey through life for the good times and for the not so good times. My siblings are my friends, and they are the people I journey through life with. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Irene, for your emotional speech. Life is a practice. Everything we do is a practice for future. Wise words from your mom, because life has its own ups and downs, and those your siblings have come through to you. It's a very good educational speech. Fellow Toastmasters, particularly guests, the guest book is posted in the chat. Let us fill it in. It is of assistance to us as leadership speak, as well as to you, for us to know how we have fared and whether you want to have a relationship with leadership speak. Our next speech will be delivered by Rozy Rana. I call upon Rozy's evaluator, Mamado Gabre, to share Rozy's speech purpose.
Thank you very much. I'm excited as I, the TMOD, pronounce my name correctly. And that's really wonderful. Thank you. Rozy is delivering a speech in Pathways Dynamic Leadership Level 1, Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. The purpose of her speech is to present a speech on any topic and use vocal variety and body language and gestures or both. So obviously what is expected is self-explanatory. And let me just hand it back to you, TMOD, to clear the way for Rozy to shine.
Rozy, from dancing with the goats to heavenly treats. From dancing goats to heavenly treats, Rozy Rana.
It was a fine day, 1300 years ago, when some goats frolicking on the hills suddenly started dancing in an ecstatic frenzy. Fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, what could possibly have caused such frenzy in otherwise calm and passive creatures? Let me take away your suspense. Let me take away any guesswork. You may be stunned to know that these goats in Ethiopia had discovered coffee. Yes, you heard right. Coffee was discovered in Ethiopia by a herd of goats. Kaldi, the shepherd, saw these goats munching on some red berries, some beautiful red berries. Curiosity got the better of Kaldi. He looked and then he decided he'll try it himself. He plucked one berry, put it in his mouth, boom! A surge of energy hit Kaldi and coffee was born, or so the legend goes. Let's hop over from Ethiopia to Yemen, where there is the first credible signs and evidence of coffee drinking. It is said that the Sufi monks used to drink coffee through long nights of prayers to stay awake in the 15th century. Yemen, in fact, is the first place that coffee started being cultivated exclusively for the drink. It was roasted and brewed exactly as you drink it today. Savored as a treasure, coffee then was exported across the oceans to faraway lands. By the 16th century, cities in Europe like Constantinople were had coffee houses, and this was a culture where conversations thrived. Fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, now picture this. You may have gone to a coffee house, heard so many names, and it all came from that berry. Today, allow me to invite you to Leadership Speak Cafeteria, where we serve only the best. Doman's coffee, of course. Now, when you have perused a coffee menu, have you seen some fancy names like cappuccino, americano, macchiato, mocha? Perhaps you wanted to order one of this, but hesitated because you were not sure whether you would like it or not. Well, today, let me empower you by unearthing some of the mysteries surrounding these fancy names. Now, many people have thought that coffee originated in Italy. Well, trust me when I say that Italy produces zero coffee. But one thing we must credit them for is that they gave rise to the magical espresso. I say magical because espresso has been the base for many of these fancy names: Americano, cappuccino, latte, mochaccino, and many, many, many others. Now, espresso is normally served in a very, very small cup. It's only 30 ml. It's a strong, rich coffee. It has no milk. But if you look at that picture, you will see that golden layer. That layer is called crema because when it's extracted well, that golden layer forms and gives an illusion of containing milk. So as I said, the espresso forms many drinks. So allow us to look at the second drink, which is the Americano. An Americano is simply 2 shots of espresso put into hot water and voila, you drink it. Did you know that James Bond in the first series had Americano mixed with Campari as his cocktail? A classic, just like the hero himself. Again, strong and bold. Now, perhaps you prefer a milder drink. And therefore, let's go to the popular favorite for many, many, which is a cappuccino. Now, legend has it that a Capuchin monk found the espresso very strong, so he mixed cream and honey. The drink had a brownish color which resembled his robe, and as a result, the name cappuccino was born. Today's cappuccino has 3 layers: espresso, steamed milk, and froth. Isn't that perfection? Now, if you prefer or if you have a sweet tooth, then the mochaccino is for you. Again, it's espresso, steamed milk, and then full cream and a drizzle of chocolate. Dessert in a cup. Ladies and gentlemen, I can see the flag which tells me it's almost time for my shift as a barista to come to a close. But I think I can sneak in a couple more drinks. The first being a latte macchiato. A latte macchiato has 3 layers: milk, a ring of espresso, and foam. Enjoy it as it is. And finally, for the adventurous, feel free, experiment, put espresso, milk, spices, fruits, flavors as you like. Create your own signature drink. Here in Kenya, we have a Malindi macchiato, which is simply espresso with cardamom, cinnamon, pepper, and nutmeg. Awakens your senses. So, dear friends, whether you like a rich, strong espresso or you prefer a sweet macchiato, just enjoy it a sip at a time. Now, you may be wondering, what does this have to do with today's theme? You may forget the history that I have shared. You will definitely forget the dates that I have given you. But when you next take a sip of your favorite beverage, just remember a red berry. The journey of that one red berry started in the 8th century in Ethiopia, traveled the universe. Today it's a global favorite. If that is not resilience, what is? Cheers to coffee. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Rozy. You have taken us through the journey of coffee with that rich history, which dates back years and years ago, and you have given us an understanding of the various models of espresso. It's a very educational speech which demonstrates resilience as we rise forward. Thank you very much. The next and the final speech will be presented by Youselee Joseph. Youseelee's evaluator, Ray Revoro, will present the purpose of Youseelee's speech.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Today, in a 5 to 7 minute speech, Youselee Joseph will share what she's learned about negotiation, the strategies that she's used, in a story that will share some aspect of a past or future negotiation in her life. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster. You're on mute.
You're mute.
A tug of war, Youselee Joseph. Youselee Joseph, a tug of war.
Have you ever played tug of war when you were children? I did. Sandra did. Thank you, Queen. As a reminder, tug of war is a game that can be between two people or two teams. Each of them holds the end of a rope and pulls to gain advantage, unbalance the opponent in order to win. We must be prepared. Prepare ourselves mentally and physically. We must have clear objectives and strategies. And we must stay focused. For me, negotiation is not far from this game. Some may disagree and say, oh no, Youselee. Negotiation is a peaceful process in which people use words, clear communication, and so, but any muscle. Let me tell you, words can also have muscles when they are transformed into solid arguments. And in this way, we use words as muscles. When negotiating, we give our words power, strength, and we use them with courtesy and finesse. And then we pull on the rope. Negotiation is in all aspects of our life. For everything we want, we pull on the rope, whether it is in the family or in a professional life. By pulling, we can either all win by not leaving anyone on the ground. We can as well do some compromise by finding ourselves in the middle of the rope. Personally, I come from a country where negotiation is highly important. Whether it is to bargain for products in the store or on the street, or to become president of the country, everything is negotiable, even life or death. You better learn the right techniques for each situation. So many times I've had to negotiate, sometimes for small things, like the best products for the lower price in the store. Or some other time for more important thing, like a promotion at my job, followed by a pay raise. This is how in one of my previous positions at the university, I had reached a point where I wanted a change. I was working hard, and I had the feeling that my work was not rewarding enough in terms of salary. Over the years, my position and responsibility within the department were growing up. I had more responsibility and never the pay raise that come with it. So I went in the dean office to negotiate several times, and I did not put forward the correct argument to overcome the university's rules. And these rules were equal pay for equal position, and whether you have more responsibility in yours or not. And I was not satisfied with that. And each time I went to negotiate, and each time I had to do a lot of compromise. Like, I got a full scholarship for my master's degree, another full scholarship for my PhD, another funded for my researches, and never pay raised. I was frustrated, and the last time I said no. I want another kind of negotiation. And this time I work on my muscles. I get better argument, and I went and I had used the collaborative style of negotiation. And get what? I still had all the advantages that I had before. And this moment, at this period, I finally get my pay raised. The solution was to leave the department where I was and to get a transfer to another department. As it was the same university, there was no need for competition, no need either for accommodative style of negotiation. But we were all satisfied. I was proud of myself, and I was finally get the money that I wanted. From that situation, I learned two things. The first one is negotiation sometimes can take time. You need time to learn, to get informed. No need to rush. The other thing that I learned is a loss is not definitive when it comes to negotiation. We can go back on the table of negotiation. What we have to do is use our information to give power to give strength to our muscles, and then pull on the wall. You never know. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Youselee. A tug of war and negotiation. You have taught me in particular that in negotiation, you have to use the knowledge and information as your source of power. And you highlighted the impact of your collaborative style of negotiation, which gave you a breakthrough. Thank you very much. That was the last speech for today's meeting. Can the PR master share the poll for the best offered speaker? Fellow Toastmasters, particularly guests, you are at liberty to vote for your preferred speaker amongst the speakers that have spoken this afternoon in South Africa. While we are casting our votes, we are moving over to the next phase of our meeting. This phase will be led by the General Evaluator. Our General Evaluator for today's meeting is Toastmaster Paramjit Singh. Toastmaster Paramjit Singh joined Toastmasters in 2020. He belongs to the Wing of Magic Toastmasters Club, as well as Leadership Speak Toastmasters Club. He has served as a club president and a vice president education, vice president public relations, as well as SAA. Over to you, Toastmaster Paramjit.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Hello, everyone. I always listen from different general evaluators that feedback is the food for growth. But from the chat, I am understanding that coffee and biryani is the food for the thought, for the evaluations. So let us see how our speakers have made the biryani and a coffee, and how it is going to help them to grow as well as empower them for becoming better speakers and better leaders. To start with, let us see the first biryani cooked by Lydia, Toastmaster Lydia, giving the toast, and her evaluator is Claudette Thomas. Claudette, please tell us the taste of the biryani today. Over to you, Toastmaster Claudette.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I will certainly serve up some coffee and biryani. But first of all, we want to thank Lydia for delivering an effective toast. Congratulations, Lydia. You excelled at the opening and content. You started off by reminding us of the theme of the meeting, Rise Forward, the power of resilient leaders. And you repeated that throughout your toast. You encourage us to rise forward, to lean forward, not sideways, not backwards. You encourage us to rise forward. And this set the tone for the meeting. Your content, you had a very well structured content, and you supported the theme of the meeting. And you drew on practical examples. You talked about your club that were experiencing some challenges with membership. You drew on the help from your area and division. And because of that, your club rose a membership of 24, and that definitely showed resilience and rising forward. You also provided some practical examples from other organizations, companies, and even leadership speak. Your delivery and engagement, Lydia, you had an appropriate pace, which I felt was excellent. And this showed us that we can hear your message and absorb it more because you slowed down and you spoke with confidence. Your Zoom presence, Lydia, it was appropriate, you were centered, and you had appropriate lighting around you. You did have eye contact, and this connected with me and hopefully the audience. Lydia, what you may want to consider, eliminating the background noises, which was a bit distracting at the beginning, especially. Towards the end, it sort of quietened down, but consider background noises, just eliminating that. And when you came to the formal part of the toast at the end, it seemed a bit rushed. What you may want to consider is asking us to, which you did, unmute your own microphones and toast. You may want to say the toast a second time for us to get it. Have a sip if you can. And you did have a glass. And then you start the applaud. And then you can return control of the meeting to our TMOD. To summarize, Lydia, you delivered a well-prepared, crafted toast with practical examples, good Zoom presence, and you set a tone for the meeting. Consider eliminating the background noises, slowing down for the formal part of the toast at the end before returning control to the TMOD. Overall, Lydia, you did set a tone for the meeting to rise forward, the power of resilient leaders, and to lean into resiliency, learn to rise forward. Well done, Lydia. Thank you. And back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Claudette, for a very detailed and balanced evaluation of a toast. The only thing we can add on is adding a more light on the face would have been much, it would enhance her gestures. Okay, now let's move on to the next, and let us have the king of biryani, Toastmaster, our president, Mr. Brahm Ramon, to evaluate the Toastmaster of the day. Stage is yours.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests, especially Nthati Mokhantso, our Toastmaster of the day. Now, why are we evaluating the Toastmaster of the day separately? Well, if you look at online meetings in level 4, there's managing an online meeting. And this is what Nthati was doing today. She was managing an online meeting. Now, our meetings don't start at 9 or 9:30 a.m. on Saturday mornings. We are in District 86, so it's all District 86 time. However, our meetings start 2 weeks before we actually begin the meeting at 9 o'clock when the Toastmaster of the day appears in the room. It begins 2 weeks before because that's when preparations start, when the roles have all been handed out. So you guessed, if you notice, I said 2 weeks in advance, not like 3 or 4 days in advance. This is an advanced club. So that is what we do. We have a benchmark of doing things well in advance, and we tend to slip a little bit sometimes, but that's our benchmark to meet at all times. And Nthati created the group, WhatsApp group, put everybody in the group, from the agenda, from the schedule, which is on Easy Speak, and all the members were entered as they were assigned. If they sort of said, I'm not coming, they were replaced by the Corinne or Baron, and Nthati did a great job in putting them in the WhatsApp group. That was wonderfully done. And then the encouragement in the WhatsApp group about how to sort of communicate with each other, to exchange ideas, and the speakers and evaluators exchanging the evaluation forms and the feedback and so on. That was done well, the encouragement. You did everything all great. You even came on Tuesday and you came on Thursday to practice your theme and how you would say what you have to say when you began the meeting this morning, as well as for those who are guests here and Toastmasters who are new here, the Toastmaster of the day and the leadership education speaker collaborate on the theme. And as you know, Ejura spoke to the theme for 20 minutes because the Toastmaster of the day only gets 3 minutes to speak. And so the collaboration was very transparent. They had collaborated as well. The toast was in accordance with the theme. So all those things fell into place, which means the Toastmaster of the day had handled the meeting very well. Ladies and gentlemen, the Toastmaster of the day owns the meeting. They own the agenda. Everything that's happening today, the Toastmaster of the day is accountable and responsible for. Now, when we mention the word accountable and responsible, it doesn't mean blame and hey, you did wrong and so on. No. It means that they are doing what they can do as best as they can and they learn along the way. And she's done a great job in learning. And I think Nthati has done this job for the very first time, even though she's been a member for over a year. So it's very well done. Now, points of improvement, Nthati, you came in a few minutes late. You didn't come in at 9 o'clock. As soon as the Zoom master opens the room, you are the second person in after Zoom master. And you were a little bit late, so there you could have improved on. Your Zoom presence was perfect and everything else. So you've done a great job because you actually came and trained and asked for feedback beforehand. So thank you so much for doing a wonderful job. And we look forward to other TMODs following your footprints. Back to you, Mr. G.
Thank you very much, President Plum, Mamon. And thank you for such a wonderful balanced feedback, very constructive feedback and improvement points also. Thank you very much. Now our next evaluator for our LS education speaker at Toastmaster Ejura is DTM Vinod Panicker. DTM Vinod Panicker is a market specialist as well as a coach and trainer. Over to you, Toastmaster Vinod.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Ejura, you transported me 30 years back to India today, where I used to drag myself at 4 a.m. in the morning to watch WrestleMania. And every Saturday, it was a ritual to watch WWE. As a speaker, I thought you were engaging, you were energetic, and you were empowering with your story. The first thing that I would like to highlight is the story that you put it in the way of a format character conflict resolution. You build the two characters, a champion and a challenger. Then there was a conflict, the hand, the elbow, the jump, the sweat, all these things. And then a winner emerged, the resolution. And then you shared the message that be the combat kid. I found that message was really connecting with me, and I believe it would be with the audience. The engaging part was the chat that you did in the beginning. And many of the audience members may not have been loving wrestling, but I loved it and I enjoyed it. So I was going through the chat. So that was engaging, that kept everyone engaged. Now, to empower you more and to build more resilience, let me share some suggestions. First thing first, that is Zoom Presence being an online club. 3 things on Zoom Presence. I would request you to step back so that there should be at least 1 or 2 inch gap between the screen. The head was cut. The second I felt was your dress was very glittery. It was amazing, but there was some reflection where half of the body was reflecting a lot. And third, you were looking at the screen, not at the camera lens. So this is based on the Zoom one. The second is the purpose of the speech is to develop and present. So in the development, I would talk about the structure. The opening, forget about the thank you and all the other salutations. Directly jump into who is your favorite wrestler, or come up with, do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Something to grab the attention of the audience, and then jump into the speech. The third suggestion would be your voice. You were energetic throughout the 20 minutes, but there were a lot of opportunities to vary your voice. When the wrestler, the sweat was going, when they were punching, when they were elbowing, there was a lot of places where you could make your pitch high and low and add emotions to your voice. So in summary, dedicated to you in the wrestling side, Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Toastmaster Ejura is an energetic, engaging, and empowering speaker who tells amazing stories. If you work on your Zoom presence and your voice, millions of people will listen to your story and be a better combat kid. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Vinod. I think that's energy and the way you always detail every part of the speech is really commendable. And I think this helps everyone, not only Ejura, but everyone to get the information, get the knowledge from there and pass it. Of course, I wanted to add on about the Zoom. You've already added on, but if you want, I can still share the screen and how her head was almost cutting up there. So it would have been like, as he said, you could have moved little back. That would have been very fine. Still, thank you very much, Toastmaster Vinod. Our first speaker was Toastmaster Dan, and his evaluator is Toastmaster Alvin Abrar, who is a banker and a part-time science teacher. Over to you, Toastmaster Alvin.
Thank you so much, GE. And thank you for opening my eye to Master Dan Odero. You make me believe that in every setbacks, there is an opportunity to rise as long as we use it effectively. That's what I learned from Dan Odero. For me, Dan Odero is not just delivering a speech, but he is delivering a message. And I receive it with interesting properties that he used to deliver his message. Story. I found it more real when Dan Odero used story as the courier of his message. On his story, I can follow it well because it has development. I can see his growth throughout the story. And that makes a story is engaging. The development completed with conflict, resolution, and the message. Besides story, his vocal variety is on point. The volume is good. The power is simply matched his vibrant and contagious energy. I can feel the fire transfer from him to me throughout this screen. A motivational speech is mandatory to have a certain level of power, so we can empower our audience from experience that we have. Simply energetic, empowering, and engaging. What can Dan Odero improve to go beyond of his level? First, the effective pause. I noticed he was using pauses in the opening of his speech. I timed it about 3 to 4 seconds of each pauses, which is just effective. I can take time to digest his message and ready to yet another point that he elaborated. Sadly, I only noticed these pauses in the first half of his speech. On the second half, I feel that he is kind of rushing and I didn't find enough pause within his lines. Fellow Toastmasters, when you have powerful words, the silence speaks by itself. For example, never let any judgment bring you down. Pause. Use it to empower you to be successful. I know he is aware of this, but it can be implemented more by practicing more so you can feel it. So when it is time to come to your conclusion, and you will not rushing when the time is running out. Besides pause, one more thing that you may consider to improve is audience engagement. Engagement, as I believe, is agreement to do some actions with audience. And several things that we can do are ask them to raise their hands or indicate an answer can be in form of hand gesture or virtual hand gesture, and it can be reaction in the chat box. And not limited to that, we can also react back to those reactions. Simply said, it is a two-way communication, and this is more effective if implemented in the opening of your speech. As a conclusion, Dan Odero, engaging speech, entertaining as well as energetic. point to be concerned to be more aware of pauses and audience engagement. Back to you, G.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Elfin. That was really an insightful and thorough evaluation. The only thing I would like to add on is about he was very much energetic, and I also have a challenge while speaking is about the smiling face or happy, because he was talking about himself, but it was too much of energy, which was almost on his face. It was like not it wasn't a happy face that which can convey a much better emotions through others. And I like your one other thing you give the examples of how to improve upon. That was very good that you added examples for him also. Thank you very much. And our second speaker was Toastmaster Bindu, and she will be evaluated by Toastmaster Minal Kanti Ghosh. Toastmaster Minal, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, everyone. Storytelling is a process of managing messages for purpose of crafting meaning through 3 layers. What are the layers? Messages, managing, and meaning. And Toastmaster Bindu, you bang on that, you follow these 3 processes. I think these are the 3 processes are very important, mainly beginning of the communication, taking care of more effectiveness to connect with the audience. And you connect with audience with the question, how many times are you angry with people around you with emotional notes? And then you're talking about how you manage your, the entire process throughout your story. And in closing, a proper meaning. What message you want to try to give the audience with the name of giant like all our Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, such kind of people. So at the end, we are the storytellers. So any story, friends, start with 3 types. We all know that's ethos, pathos, and logos. And your entire story based on pathos. It's all about emotional. Evokes emotionals, then appealing values to desire interest area. Use a storytelling of your own storytelling so that we all can correlate with us. I think that is important. So that is the crux. It's very much you can connect with the audience. And purpose of your objective of the project, it made. Now I'm coming to some of the things you may improve. So one thing I just want to talk about, I think that part we need to take care whenever we deliver any speeches. I think that is important. Our Zoom presence. I hope my screen is visible. Just try to take care of your body language. Because in your speech, all about emotional, and emotional reflects to your entire body language. So that part you need to take care very judiciously. Second thing, I'm talking about one of the most important aspects, your voice. Actually, you try to moving in 3 directions, forward and then backward. Sometimes actually your voice was not clear. It's not audible for the audience. That distance, you need to take care of that. As overall, I just want to, as a storyteller, you're an amazing storyteller, connect with audience with emotional, great clarity of your voice, with proper eye contact throughout your speech. Only 2 things you need to take care, becoming a better version of yourself. One is your Zoom presence, and second is voice when you moving your screen. I think that part you need to take care of that. And then you're becoming an unstoppable speaker. Back to you, G.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Minal. Thank you for the encouraging and supportive evaluation. Of course, I wanted to talk about and show the same picture which you have shown about for Bindu. And another problem was when she was even moving further back from the camera, she was even coming very smaller even on the stage. All the screen was free. So better to have a balanced screen presence. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Minal. Our next speaker was Irene, and she will be evaluated by Dr. Toastmaster John. And when I asked about resilience, Toastmaster John said, The theme is very important to me because resilience helps me to adapt and succeed in any situation and environment. Resilience helps us one's overall well-being, lower anxiety and depression levels, and enable us to grow. The stage is yours, Toastmaster John.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially Speaker Irene Sadia. Thank you for your very informational and empowering icebreaker speech. You definitely excelled in achieving the objective of your project with a strong, clear, and a strong, clear conversational voice. You excelled in several areas, including the content, in which you gave us a good example of how, beginning with your title was The Journey You Had with Your Friends. And you gave us a way of how you supported that title with the friends that you journey with, your siblings and other friends, and the lesson that you learned from your mother that you later became useful to you. You also excelled, particularly in one of your delivery points, which is your eye contact. I was able to see your eye contact throughout your speech. I also enjoyed a little bit of your voice modulation. And that is your tone, your volume, and your pitch, which I'm going to comment upon on. But the top area that I also like that you excelled in is your Zoom presence. I felt that you had a good lighting, you were centered, and you had good purposeful gestures in which you were able to convey, we were able to see your emotions. You took off your glasses so that it doesn't reflect, and I like that very much. And your eyes was at the level of your camera. Now, you asked me to particularly look at your voice modulation and particularly pitch. So these aspects of your delivery, you might try to work upon. First is the fact that the volume, although you are speaking at a conversational level, there was some times when I was not able to distinguish between your conversation or you and your mother. For instance, when you said you asked your mother, why did she ask you to take care of a child? And your mother told you that life is a practice and that everything we do is for us to life. So I would have probably loved to see a change in the volume a little bit and the pitch so that we can understand the difference. All in all, I enjoyed it. Congratulations for a well-delivered icebreaker, and I look forward to your further speeches in your project. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster John. Thank you for precise and perceptive evaluation. Thank you. Nothing to add. Only thing I will request Irene to go back and watch this YouTube, because what I felt that your eye blinking was at very high. Like I wanted to take a photograph for you for the Zoom presence. I think 3 seconds to 3 seconds, your eye was being closed. Maybe you are thinking or going back into the memory lane, but just to watch it again and think of working on this particular aspect. Thank you very much, Toastmaster John. Our next speaker was Toastmaster Rozy Rana, and he will be evaluated by Mamadou, and he will tell us how and which coffee is the best coffee. Over to you, Toastmaster Mamadou.
All right, thank you, Mr. G.E. Toastmaster Rozy made us taste and smell the flavor of real roasted coffee. Her use of vocal variety brought her word to life. And I could see her shift from calm tone to passionate peaks. And your body language really added an extra dimension to the to your speech, which really engaged us. Every gesture, every movement, every tone, every word felt purposeful, like you were dancing with the words. We could even actually put a title, Dancing with the Words. I especially loved how your hands punctuated key points as if each word, each gesture, each tone had their own role in your speech. What else? To be in the theme of coffee. What else? I was a bit jealous of something you were looking at. That might be the screen or your slides. If you had taken your eyes a bit off of that screen, that would have been the icing on the cake. But again, what else? I had the impression at some point that you were actually, it was a commercial that you were introducing to present or advertise on a coffee brand to compete with Starbucks or other brands. You've shown us, Rozy, that communication is not only about words, but also about the voice, about the gestures, to make it spicy, sweet, or flavory to your liking, like coffee. Rozy, keep rising, keep shining, and keep inspiring us with your vibrant stage presence. Because what else? You've got it. You've got this. You've got all it takes. The melodies, the skills, the capabilities, and the style to keep us every time and every day and at any occasion you are on the stage, to keep us on our toes. Back to you, Mr. GE.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mamadou. Thank you very much. Thank you for your balanced valuation and food with energy. The energy level you always speak with is really commendable. And I always, Rozy is always using audio visual for enhancing her speeches. They're really great for us, everyone. And the photographs she chose is really very captivating. Our next speaker was Youselee Joseph, and she will be evaluated by Toastmaster Ray. And Ray, when asked for the resilience of a theme, he said, resilience is the key to overcoming obstacles in leadership, especially regarding mental and emotional challenges. Over to you, Toastmaster Ray.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. Youselee, I loved how you introduced a question to the audience to get their attention, to get their focus onto you. You used tug of war as not only your noping analogy, but as a negotiation tactic, an analogy of how you approach negotiation. You also had a few extra statements, such as words as muscle in negotiation. What I would like to have seen in more of as an improvement is to get into those examples instead of just spending a little extra time about what negotiation is. The best way that you can go about negotiation is to share with examples. And maybe you can emphasize with body language, like, I can use my muscles to bring in my points. Or I've used my strength to get that salary that I've always wanted. And maybe when you went to change over departments, you can just say, bye-bye. They want me here. Big salary. Nice little tug of war. Those are some of the things that you can work on, just using the examples and illustrating with body language and gestures. Because instead of just explaining it, you can share it with your body language. I also liked how you learned how to use time and that loss isn't definite. And you also had an outstanding Zoom practice. We talked about being in the middle of the screen with our eyes focused on the camera. You did that quite well. Finally, the challenges. I would elaborate more on your personal examples for this speech, such as more of the why do you go to the equal pay, the pay raise, and most importantly, how you really felt when you accomplished that. And maybe do a little extra tug of war with a bit of extra muscle into it. I liked how you added the resilience and how important the negotiation is. And as an additional challenge, there is a persuasive influence level 3 project called Understanding Conflict Resolution. You have negotiating on one side, but then you have to deal with the conflict sometimes as well. Overall, I love the speech. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Guerrero. It was really a very detailed and I'll say insightful evaluation. And the best thing, any evaluation where the evaluators, shares how to do it, how to not only just you must do this, you should do this, but giving the examples on the screen is really, really helping the speaker to grow because he knows how to do it. Thank you very much, Toastmaster. So I will now request our Zoom master to launch the poll for the best effort evaluator. And in the meantime, I like to call upon somebody which, when I was studying in my college, the grammar was like a hammer for me. So today, I think the grammarian will not throw a hammer to me and to everyone. Our Toastmaster grammarian, Atul Sankar, Toastmaster Atul Sankar, the stage is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Word of the day, empowerment. I think we all forgot empowerment and we remember coffee and biryani. We empowered ourselves with coffee and biryani. That's great. The word of the day has been used 5 times. The Toastmaster of the day has been using once. Toastmaster Rozy once. Toastmaster Alfin 2 times. And Toastmaster John 1 time. I would encourage you all in the next in the journey now, we can use the word of the day, empowerment, empower, let us empower ourselves to use the word of the day, empower. And coming to some suggestions for improvement, maybe small little, little ones. Toastmaster Bindu, it is emotion. She could have used it is an emotion. Toastmaster Alfin, he elaborates was better. Too much energetic could be replaced by too energetic. Gestures could be used, gestures by Toastmaster John. And I would like to list a few quotes or thoughts that really sounded applauded or empowered me, that I really felt good about it. Some few things spoken about by Toastmaster of the day, vital passages, face-to-face with challenge, sure of obstacles, and Toastmaster Ejura, inflictions. Toastmaster Dan, don't judge a book by its cover, a very well quote or saying. Toastmaster Bindu, man has evolved, destroying myself. I think this was one of the good sayings. Toastmaster Irene, I hang the life through it. Toastmaster of the day, life is a practice for your future. Felt it was very powerful. Toastmaster Rozy, strong, rich coffee, the vocabulary crema, barista, and sneaking. And that's where I think we all got evolved with coffee. Toastmaster Youselee Joseph, equal pay for equal position. Use your information for strength, power. Toastmaster Alvin, the power of energy to all. Never let any judgment you down. Toastmaster Paranjit, food with energy. And that's where I conclude food with energy. It was beautiful having this meeting. And this is my grammarian report today. Hats to you, the General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Atul, for detailed grammarian report and wonderful observation. I think you are a key listener who listened to everyone very precisely and shared wonderful quotes and other points which everybody shared with us. Thank you very much for your detailed report. So now for the meeting report, a tone set in the very beginning, it sets up the meeting tone, absolutely. And to start from the greetings, when I entered, of course, Sandra was late in the meeting, of course, but when she entered, she kept, engaged us with question like, what do you do in the morning? What do you do the first time in the morning? Of course, I was lucky that she didn't ask me, because the first thing I do in the morning is to stop the alarm and go back to sleep again. That's what I do generally. So, of course, she didn't ask me. That's very, very thankful to her. That set the tone. And today, if I talk about the meeting, we are attending so much of meetings, help meeting, plan the meetings also. Very well planned, very well done, very well presented, very free, absolutely free, captivating, and engaging meeting. The Toastmaster of the day and our leadership education speaker, they were on the same pitch. They made, on the resilience, they both talked about the same point. They were absolutely on the same pitch and talking about how resilient can help us in our lives. That was a very, most of the time, generally there's a mismatch, but this was wonderfully done by both the speaker, and I think that was a very close coordination with them. And this was also evident from the WhatsApp matches going on. And then let us talk about the speakers. As we are going, and there are new speakers, there are new speakers, new evaluators, both the level of our speeches, our Toastmaster is daily getting higher and higher. And evaluations also. I think the bar is raised, and this is because of all the meetings, Friday meetings, the Thursday meetings, as well as Tuesday, the extraordinary meeting also. This has really helped everyone. And I can see a lot of evaluators, which has really improved upon from what they were doing and what the level they are. This was really a great evaluation and great speeches by everyone, and thoughtful speeches also. Another, if I talk about now, go to the Zoom master, Baba Jarvis, Nizinga Zase. I think she did a wonderful job. I think maybe she was doing first time, as far as I know, but everything according to the system. Everything was online. Everything was on time. Barbara, I think she is having a watch from Elon Musk that she was very precise. She's using Elon Musk's watch to give us a timing. Everything which flows very well, it went up to the last. And we had, I think, the other thing, only thing which we, last time Toastmaster Youselee was the JGE, and this time also I would like to highlight that which is to be improved. Generally, we, at 2 minutes before the meeting, we talk that now it's a time for our meeting to start. So please unmute your devices. And then 2 minutes, we keep ourselves. Anybody speaking, we generally speak about that time. And we start at absolutely the time, according to my time, is 5:30 in UAE time. So this time we are missing from last 2 meetings. It's going up by 2 minutes. like 5:32 according to Naeem, because it nobody stopped in between, and I think Sandra was doing greeting and missed it. So that was our hallmark. Like I have attended about 52 meetings, more than 52 meetings last year. Not even 1 minute late. So this we have to work upon from next on. But whosoever is sergeant at arms should look into it, so that our time starts absolutely the way we wanted to have our hallmark of. That is something which is we had been maintaining, and we should maintain it. Apart from them, I'm thankful to every role player, everyone, the new role players who are doing the first time, and again, the best of luck for the next roles. And thank of the grammarian for first time. I think Atul also was doing for the first time. He did very well. He did very good job. So with all this, I think we will be having more captivating and more engaging, more powerful meetings, which will empower everyone over here. With these thoughts, I'd like to hand over the meeting to our Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day, Sadia.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and esteemed guests. This was a great meeting. PR Master, kindly display the best effort speaker and evaluator. Simultaneously, the timer, kindly record the times in the chat box, times taken by the evaluators. Esteemed guests, if you haven't filled in the guest book, kindly do so now and remain in the meeting. The president has a bone to chew with you. I hand over the platform now to Elena Constantino to present the thoughts of the theme. Elena.
Elena is not here.
Okay. In her absence, let me summarize the theme. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, today we've explored the transformational power of resilient leadership. Key takeaways are the following. Resilience is crucial for effective leadership because it inspires trust, it motivates, and it inspires growth. It can be developed through self-reflection, supportive network, and through embracing challenges. At Leadership Speak, it's a one-stop station. We have all this. Through emotional intelligence, it is adaptability, strategic thinking, critical thinking are all essential characteristics of resilient leaders. To rise forward, leaders must cultivate resilience, self-awareness, and personal growth. It means embracing challenges and take them as opportunities, supporting each other and empowering others, leading with a purpose and leading intentionally. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, resilient leaders drive positive change. They cultivate a growth mindset and they continue to empower others. Let us all rise forward together in unison. Thank you very much. I hand over to the President of Leadership Speak, DTM Bram Momen, to address our guests. Over to you, President.
Thank you, Nthati Mokhantso. You've done an excellent job today, and how you concluded the meeting today. Very well done. Congratulations. You've done this meeting well, and you made us all proud. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk to our guests. There's very few guests here really that need to be talked to. Most of our people who are here, there's only 3 or 4 left. Most of them have left. Some of them have filled in the guest book. So there's really nobody else to talk to because most of our visitors here are usual visitors. So we'll just pass that by. However, I like to mention something here at this point in time is, we are in October. So we had attrition in September. And we had some new members join in October. So we will be losing four flags from our background. So whoever has got that background, you will see that you will be having a new background. When you have just one person from one country and they leave, the flag is gone. And of course, there was somebody who moved from Haiti to Canada. So we lost the Haiti flag as well. Unless she's still keeping that Haiti address on TI site. But if she's changed to Canadian, yeah. Oh, she's changed it to Canadian. So we will lose a Haiti flag as well. So there's 4 flags in total. We will be losing. Let's put it this way. We'll be using Haiti because of the transfer to Canada, and then we've lost Sri Lanka, Turkey, and Sweden. But we will be gaining, ladies and gentlemen, Philippines. Rana isn't here today. He's already a member, and as we talk, Fabian is putting in his application from Guyana, so we'll gain 2 flags from Guyana and lose 4. That means we will be having 25 flags on that background. So from next week, please be sure to remove and destroy what you have in your background. You'll be getting new ones. Thank you all for being here, and I will now hand it back to Nthati to adjourn the meeting. Over to you, Nthati.
Thank you, President. With the powers vested in me as the Toastmaster of the day for the meeting of Leadership Speak on the 5th of October 2024, I declare the meeting adjourned.
Here's to biryani and coffee. Zoom master, stop the recording, please.